Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars The Mandalorian video. And just a reminder, we are almost done our exclusive Mando coverage over here on EckhartsLadder. We'll be back to normal content soon, so some of you will be relieved to hear that. I think a lot of you will also be disappointed, but we will continue, of course, to sprinkle some Mando in here and there wherever it fits. But this is just a reminder, if there's a topic that you'd really like to see covered before we go back to normal, make sure to leave it down in the comments and also upvote any suggestions you like, and I'll try to get a couple done. Anyway, let's talk about the scene from The Mandalorian. Luke Skywalker shows up in his X-Wing, wipes house, takes Baby Yoda, goes home, hopefully to Yavin. Absolute legend. That scene had me super emotional. It's one of the only times I wish I had filmed my reaction to something, because the second that X-Wing showed up, I just lost it. Especially as somebody who, as a kid, watched Return of the Jedi a couple of times every week, sometimes every day. I used to run around while camping with a black turtleneck and one black glove on and my rubber boots. But while I was having a breakdown on my couch, Moff Gideon was having a breakdown on the floor, because it seems like the second that Luke Skywalker showed up, Moff Gideon went into full panic mode. Throughout the entire episode, he was pretty much always confident, even when taken into custody before the Dark Troopers showed up. And this is the only time we've seen Moff Gideon crack at all, and he actually does something in Star Wars that we've never really seen before. He attempts to kill himself, or at least we've never seen on screen. So a pretty dark moment from a man who has clearly heard the legend of Luke Skywalker. But how so? How has Moff Gideon heard of Luke? I mean, obviously, yes, Luke would be well known in the galaxy as one of the remaining Jedi, but the good guys in the scene didn't seem to recognize who he was. Even Cara Dune, who was a New Republic shock trooper, didn't recognize him right away, and Luke Skywalker basically fired the avenging shot against the Death Star, which blew up her homeworld. So why did Moff Gideon get this instant recognition? Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, we have to look at Moff Gideon's Imperial background. Gideon was a member of the ISB, the Imperial Security Bureau. The ISB was a critical arm of the Empire, and as the name suggests, was involved in ensuring the internal and external security of the Empire against all known threats. We often see the ISB involved with trying to discover and eliminate sympathizers to the rebellion within the Empire, but they also operated externally and were involved with propaganda, hunting down enemies from without the Empire, and were specifically responsible partially for hunting the Rebel Alliance down. Whereas the Empire's military would have been a blunt tool for that purpose, the ISB would have been much more delicate, using spying, subterfuge, and subversion. Luke Skywalker would have been very well known to most ISB agents. Outside of Rebel High Command, Skywalker was probably the most wanted man in the entire galaxy, and to people like Palpatine and Darth Vader, even more so. I mean, Gideon can put two and two together as well as the rest of us. He knows Luke is the remaining Jedi, he sees an X-Wing, a sole X-Wing, and his Dark Troopers immediately identify a threat, and yeah, he's probably going to figure out that it is Luke, especially once he sees the man in combat. Gideon gets more and more worried as he realizes that it is a Jedi, so whether he knows specifically that it's Luke or not, and I suspect he does know that it's Luke, he is at least very familiar with the threat that a Jedi possesses. That, however, is just the basic answer. I mean, Imperial is afraid of Jedi. What enlightening analysis I've done here. Well, I think there is more. We know that Moff Gideon is connected to something larger than himself. First of all, it's really not possible that he would have organized this entire Dark Trooper project, as well as the cloning, without major support, especially if he's using an Imperial cruiser, a fairly small Imperial cruiser, as his flagship. He's clearly getting support. We've seen some indications that support is actually coming from Grand Admiral Thrawn himself, which I've pointed out in a video. But either way, just to reiterate, Gideon is connected to something greater, and the actor who plays Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito, actually pointed this out in an interview that he gave. This is from Entertainment Weekly, and I've returned to this a few times because I think it's really important when it comes to the future of his character. First of all, he talks about the fact that he expects viewers will see more of Gideon in Season 3, which isn't surprising. Of course, the character's not done at this point, but he also says, quite interestingly, when people flow out of control and there are all these different Moffs who have been assigned different areas to be wardens of, isn't there one person or someone that may have guidance over all of them? They're questions that are answered. It could be super soldiers, it could be that he wants to save the galaxy. Also, why does Moff Gideon know about what's going on everywhere? He has some kind of incredible intelligence source. Moff Gideon himself actually references this fact in the recent episode. He says, if you're doing something, basically expect that I know it, which is exactly how Grand Admiral Thrawn was portrayed in the Thrawn trilogy. That's actually why Thrawn is such a devastating opponent to fight a war against. Yes, he will beat you in individual battles, and he will predict your moves from moment to moment, but he also sows within you a sense of fighting an all-knowing enemy, one who is pitting you against yourself in a way that you can't even understand. And that's why the mere threat of Thrawn's return in the Thrawn duology contributes to the starting of nearly an all-out galactic civil war. I think it's Thrawn, but whether it is our favorite Blue Admiral or not, again, this interview and I think the show make it fairly clear that Gideon is answering to somebody who has, and I quote, an incredible intelligence source, and probably somebody assigned to keep all the various Moffs and others in line. That sounds to me like a Grand Admiral, but again, we'll see. There's somebody else there, and perhaps it's that extra context which provides even more information about why Moff Gideon is scared. He's probably very, very familiar with Jedi if he's working as a part of a greater operation, especially if Luke Skywalker is one of his major threats. It might actually be fortunate for Gideon that he was knocked out by Cara Dune in this situation. It could be one of those cases where the filmmakers have done something so that two characters don't meet before they're supposed to. Maybe Luke is looking for Gideon, and had he been alive, perhaps he would have confiscated him from the good guys. I just think it's a little too convenient how he's knocked out cold and falls out of sight when Luke shows up, but that's just a pretty wild theory. I also do think it's telling that when Gideon grabs the weapon, besides for incapacitating Bo-Katan, his first move is to shoot at Grogu, a move which will certainly result in his death. I think that indicates that Grogu is important to some greater plan, which is not surprising given the fact that they searched for him for so long. But could there also be this idea that Grogu could expose this larger plan, or could shine light on the master of Gideon or their operations? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but I think all of that said, Gideon's response to Luke is not at all surprising, probably what we should expect. And had he not known who Luke is in hindsight, that would have been much, much weirder. Gideon is messing with the Force on some level here. I'm sure we'll find out more about that and his master next season, but I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' theories down in the comment section. I've been pretty busy. I'm going to take half an hour after this video goes live to go through pretty much every comment I can, look for new video ideas, so don't hesitate, drop a like, and leave your thoughts. Until next time though guys, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.